A lot of guys, they'll get nice leather shoes for the office, sneakers or loafers for the weekend, and once it gets slushy and puddly like winter does here in New York City, a lot of guys just look up winter boots and wind up with something unnecessarily puffy and waterproof like this. And you don't have to. This is Nick at Stridewise.com, where we look at casual, durable men's stuff, and my mission in life is to teach guys that there's such a thing as boots and clothes that are both casual and high quality. I just hit 12 years in New York City and 7 years making videos about boots and visiting factories all over the world and stuff, so I know what I'm talking about, and I'm here to tell you that you can dress well in winter. And there are a lot of misconceptions about winter boots, but the big three are that good boots need to be expensive, that expensive boots means you can't beat them up or wear them casually, and the biggest is the word waterproof. The idea that you need waterproof boots for winter. You need waterproof boots to stand in a river fishing all day. You don't need waterproof boots to walk through puddles. You need just very water resistant boots, and that's what we're talking about here today as well. For this winter focused video, I've selected boots that are either more water resistant than your typical Goodyear welt, or boots that are more winter friendly in other ways than Goodyear welted boots. I've made sure that the first 4 boots I'm talking about are under $250, just so this video is gonna be more accessible and useful for more guys. Number 1, I'm going with the Hero from Thursday Boot Company. This company changed the game for resoleable boots by offering them cheaper than pretty much anyone ever had before, at least at scale. They have a nice tall one called the Explorer, but that one's $250. In the spirit of finding the lowest priced good boot for this spot, I'm going with the Hero boot here. It stands out because it's still taller than Thursday's other boots, which are normally 6 inches. And it's made with a Storm Goodyear welt, which is a term you're going to hear a lot in this video. That's basically an even more water resistant kind of the already very water resistant Goodyear welt. This also comes with a really tall, chunky lug sole that's really great for tough terrain. I wore these waxed ones for like a year, so I got this cool kind of aging as the wax wore away, but it comes in a bunch of other leathers as well. So I think this one is their best winter boot. Another boot at this $200 price point, I definitely should touch on Timberland's 6-inch premium boot. This boot is not resoleable, so I don't always recommend it. It became really famous as an icon of 90s hip hop, but also it became very famous among like farmers in New England before that because it is indeed both waterproof and insulated. And unlike most non-resoleable boots, this boot has a steel shank. That's a strip of steel, usually it's steel, that goes between the heel and the midfoot here to help with stability. Boots with shanks are less likely to give you foot pain, basically. And it comes in a whole bunch of different colors. So not the most versatile boot, it's very casual, but obviously a lot of people really like this style. Another boot in this range, it's $200 exactly, is a Caribou from Sorel. I'm including it just because some people do want a boot that looks more like this than your classic leather work boot or something. I think the Caribou is the best looking and most versatile snow boot out there. Not resoleable either, but it is waterproof. Waterproof boots typically aren't resoleable. So if a boot's neither resoleable nor waterproof, I'm like, but if it's one of those, then I'm like, all right, okay. A potential downside of this product is the insulation is synthetic, so it's not quite as great at wool or shearling at insulating, but the price is definitely right? So it's fair for the price that you're paying. All right, for a winter Chelsea boot, this is the last one under $250. I think probably, yeah, the best Chelsea boot for winter would be Blundstone's. It's simply a very iconic and recognizable style, and it's also a brand that you might already really like, and so you might just want like the most winter-friendly version of that classic boot, right? So the more winter-friendly version of Blundstone is the Blundstone 584 in this, the brand's most popular leather, rustic brown. It's not resoleable like most Blundstones, but it is both lined with Finsulate for insulation, and this is a big one, it has a Shearling footbed. And you can also remove that footbed if you want, which means there's also room for an orthotic if you need one, which is a bonus for a lot of guys. But also Shearling is a very premium material for a boot. It's what you call wool when like the skin is still on the wool. So it makes the wool even warmer and more effective. And also the shock absorption is very, very good with Blundstones. All that put together makes, this Blundstone a very solid choice for a winter Chelsea boot. Okay, this next boot is $295, and to be honest, all things being equal, I think this might be the best overall. Like I would have put this at the start if I was doing best winter boots in order of bestness, just in terms of the balance here of durability and warmth and value and not being ugly, which is a priority here. This brand doesn't really name their boots, they just call them by their numbers and leathers, but go to the link in the description below to see all of the Shearling lined boots from Meermin, Mallorca. And be amazed. So they have plenty of options in different brown and black shades. This one is a very famous waxed suede. They've also got some in like kudu, like a type of antelope. And again, plenty of conservative brown and black ones too. Meermin also gets their stuff from really good tanneries. This one's from CF Stead, which is universally considered the best producer of suede on planet Earth. And I happen to have visited there if you want to check it out, because I do my research, guys. Meermin's winter boots stand out because they are storm Goodyear welted and they are fully lined, not just the footbed, with shearling wool. And they look really, really good. With some of these leathers, you could definitely wear them with slacks and a sports jacket to the office. In addition to that, they are made with an unusual, like more flexible kind of Goodyear welt because they swap the cork that you normally find in a Goodyear welt with some foam. All of those elements for under 300 bucks. It's a very, very serious accomplishment. Just note that Meermin is a European brand, which is cool and everything, but as a result, they use UK sizing. A big benefit of being in New York though is that I was able to visit their store, and I am a 12 in sneakers usually. I'm 11 in most boots. On a branded device, that shoe size you actually size your foot on, I'm 11.5, and I'm a 10.5 in these. So let that guide you. Okay, so next up is a very funky Scandinavian brand taking the world by storm. This brand is called Duckfeet, and I do not know how to pronounce an A with a circle on top of it, but the Århus is a very interesting boot. I'm obviously trying to cover as many aesthetics as I can here to make this video as useful as I can. This one might make you think of a much better made UGG boot. The leather is much better quality, and it's also made very, very water resistant with an unusually eco-friendly process called TerraCare that, again, I can't get too deep into that or the video will get too long, but it's very interesting. More detail in the links in the description below. There's a ton of colors that comes in. The leather is really cool and very water resistant. You can fold the collar down if you want, if you want to make it have a little bit of a different look. The sole is natural crepe, which is super soft and all natural, which as you can tell is a bit of the vibe with this boot. Pursuant to that, the box is recycled and every purchase contributes to reforestation efforts in Madagascar. This brand does take a lot of cues from the barefoot footwear trend. And by that I mean the toe is a duckbill-like, that's where the name comes from, Duckfeet. I'm referring to like the big wide foot accommodating Daffy Duck's bill-like toe here. And there's purposely no arch support here. Like they say that on purpose. So that's to make it about as barefoot feeling as you want. Also, this construction is indeed resoleable, although also fairly flexible and lightweight, which is cool. The sizing is not American, it's also not UK, it's European. I am a 12 in most sneakers. On the actual brand device, I'm 11.5. In these boots, I am a 45, which fits fine with thin socks. And all I really need is thin socks, of course, when it's this insulated. But to be honest, I would have preferred a 46. The Freeman boot from Rancourt really is uniquely awesome. I think the best looking winter boot on this list. It's a really cool family-owned business in Maine that I have visited. Design-wise, it's the most versatile and classically American leather boot. It's a superb balance of understated and eye-catching that like every dude likes that. The winter powers this boot wields are many. The leather is a waterproof version of Horween's Chrome XL, which is considered like the greatest boot leather on planet Earth. It's extra tall, but not weirdly tall. So that's to help you, of course, with like walking through snow or if you get stuck in a puddle. It is fully shearling lined for fantastic warmth that I experienced wearing it all over Canada earlier this year. It has the extra water resistant storm welt I mentioned, and here's the big one. It has this very, very rare sole called Arctic Grip from the boot world's favorite manufacturer of soles, Vibram. I don't know why I don't see this sole more often. I've heard that it does lose its powers after a couple of seasons as the sole wears down, but nonetheless, it's a really, really cool invention that is specifically designed to resist slipping on ice and snow. Obviously, saying you won't slip opens them up for lawsuits when you do and then you die, but I did find it made a difference when I was in Canada in these. The good news is this is unusually cheap for what it is, like an American-made Goodyear welted boot with American leather and all these features. It is cheap because they do not pay guys like me for marketing or anything. Like I'm making nothing talking about this boot, I just think it's really good. The bad news is that another reason why it's so cheap is because they are made to order and it'll take 2 or 3 months for them to be made for you, which is why I could not really make a huge deal out of this boot because yeah, most people don't want to wait that long for their boots. Okay, this next boot is also American made, and you might be surprised to learn that this is the most Western style boot on this list and that I could find that's specifically great for winter. And it's made by Edmonds, which is a kind of an unusual choice because that's a brand that's best known for making probably the most influential American dress shoe or business professional shoe, which is the cap-toe Oxford called the Park Avenue. But this is a very, very casual boot with very, very casual leather that I think will appeal to a lot of guys who haven't really looked at the brand before. Edmonds never says where their leather is from on their product pages, which is weird because I reached out and asked and they told me it's from CF Stead, which is widely, universally considered one of the world's best tanneries. So this is waxed cowhide rough out which is, that's typically gonna be thicker than suede. Then it's been waxed, so it doesn't look like suede. It looks like this, like it's got this vintage aviator texture. That's how they described it to me. I think it looks really cool, really, really casual. It's got a lot of character. More relevant to this video, the wax makes it very, very essentially waterproof. It's also Shearling lined, it's Storm Goodyear welted, and also do not underestimate the utility and convenience of a side zip winter boot, because I feel like in winter, more than ever, you're taking boots off of the door and wearing them in the first place more than any other time of the year. So this style, and especially also the ability you get to put the boot on when you're wearing gloves that the zip offers you, all that might convert you to the side zip style. I have a few more options, but this video is getting too long, so I put some more boots in the article in the description below. This is, to cap off the video, the best mock toe boot for winter, and it is also the most expensive on this list, and I'm gonna tell you why. This is the Backcountry from Russell Moccasin. It's a very small outfit in Wisconsin with their DNA in hunting boots and the kind of like marsh and wetlands ready construction that such boots demand. The company's over 125 years old, and a lot of like explorers and pioneers wore them back in the day. The first men to fly solo around the world wore them. Also Harrison Ford wore them, and Zach Galifianakis. There's a lot to say here, but while this boot isn't insulated, they use two very cool and very old-fashioned and very rare and skillful and, dare I say, artisanal methods to make it practically waterproof. And it's not just a 7-inch height, which is a bonus that you should know. One of the big things is that, unlike all these other boots here, your foot is not in contact with seams underfoot, like on the edges of your foot. That's because it's made with genuine hand-sewn moccasin construction. I did a full video on that at a factory in the description below if you want to check that out. And a lot of people prefer it for comfort, and I can tell you with authority there's no break-in with this boot. I've had rough break-ins in my life, especially the last few weeks, because boot season's been kicking off and I've been trying to get through a lot of boots. It's got what's called a double vamp, so instead of one piece of leather encircling your foot, you get two. You basically get like a water repellent leather bootie that lines the boot from the ankle down. That gives amazing water resistance. It gives you extra side-to-side support as well. And because it's also a single piece of leather, it doesn't inhibit ground feel or give you the risk of seams down by the bottom of your feet or on the sides of your feet. There are downsides, of course, the price, $750 for a pair of these. The good news is that this brand used to take like at least 6 months, sometimes a year to make boots, but they've got a new CEO recently, and so they often have ready to ship models. So this 125-year-old brand is better than it's ever been. Just don't get picky with like leathers, because some leathers like this one, I had to wait a few months for them to make it. But if you are not really picky about leathers, good chance you can just get a pair right now. So that's a pretty big deal for a brand this size and with this sort of construction. All right, man, that's my list. As someone who has been to Antarctica, I'm aware that there are boots more designed for being in Antarctica, but winter boots that can work for just about anyone, that actually look good. I'm really confident with that list. I spent forever on this. I literally spent 7 years making that list. But let me know in the comments below if you think there's a better, good-looking winter boot that I missed for men. The article's in the description below with more information and pictures and stuff, and a couple more options as well, at least one. And subscribe here as well for more videos on casual, durable men's stuff. I'll catch you for the next one.